I'll call the meeting to order. We'll now do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'll have a moment of silent meditation, please. Okay, let the minutes show that all three commissioners are in attendance. And we now have public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Roger Brandt, 15525 Hollingsworth Road. Today you were touched the subject of the water project on Hollingsworth. We have fought the dust on Hollingsworth for a good many years. We live on the corner of 155th and Hollingsworth. We still receive dust from the east. A few years back, we donated a mile of right-of-way to the county for road improvement on Hollingsworth to the west. And they done a very good job. The county done all the work and it turned out real good. We have a mile and a half west of 155th of paved road and a mile of dirt rock to the east. Then we have to 147th. And then we have a mile of blacktop onto, or chip and seal, onto 7 Highway. Hollingsworth does have a lot of traffic. And the road count on this road is significantly high, and it needs drainage problems and chip and seal to save the county money and also benefit to the people that live on the road and people that would use it from the west going and coming to work. I understand that there's a little confusion with the water department, county consolidated number 1. According to the statutes, the water district doesn't have to put out for bid for their project, according to state statutes. Excuse me. The bidding on 147th was left to the engineers, and they kind of bickered back and forth. Maybe not bickered, but they communicated back and forth on the plan that was submitted to them. There was a bid come in. It was a little high. They went back to the drawing board. They changed it 3 times. This cost the water board a lot of money for engineering, and I'm sure it cost the county engineering too. But everybody's wanting to get it as cheap as they can and do the job right. The water board does submit out for bid on material that is used there. It has been the water district's policy to use our man, our contractor, to lay the line. Number 1 is very comparable. He does a good job. There is no inspector required, which they charge quite a little bit of money. And it is done by the engineering firm. And there is a 2-year clause in there that he guarantees the line. He takes care of it. It is put in, he knows where it's at, everything is fine. We have had no problems. And currently, the project is coming in under the projected estimate for this job on 147th. It wasn't the total delay on the water board that stopped this project. It was everything all combined. This was a large project for Leavenworth County to undertake. 4 miles, that's one of the bigger projects Leavenworth County's undertaken. And you got your land acquisitions, you got all the blueprints and all this, that, and the other, and it all takes time. And all it takes is just one stumbling block. In time you get this done, then you go back to the meeting, then you start over here, and then you gotta come back. You know how it all works. It takes time. There was a project I'd like to remind you of, or inform you of, County Road, the Water District number 7 had one done, and there was a contractor out of Lansing that done it. They have had nothing but trouble with this line. They've had several breaks, and they had to go back, and it's making the patrons unhappy and a bad mark on everybody. Whether it was whatever it was, I don't know if it was material or what it was. But and what we require is the best material, and we've got good distributors out of Kansas City, and it's a good job. And our contractor has done other work for Westar. He is very competitive in his bids. And it seems to me like that there was one, and I can't call this for a fact, that there was 3 bids. And he came in the lowest bid. And he got the job. And recently, Miles come in to the Water District and applied for his new subdivision there in Bayshore, Tomahawk Valley. And Miles is very reputable on installing water line utilities, and he does a very wonderful job. And we told him of our policy. There was no argument, and it's put in, and it will be done the way that it's all guaranteed, and there was no problem. The Water District wants to get along with everybody and get the best quality for the county and for the patrons of our district. And if this is what it has to be, but a lot of times your lowest bid is not always the best. And I think we all know that. You got to outline what is going. And I don't know what to do. Currently, I am president of the Water District. Chairman Pike retired because of mental health reasons, and had been vice president, so I took over. So I'm a little bit kind of green at this, but I know the board wants to work with the county the best we can, and this is a state issue, and I know the county can probably have their own restrictions, but we'll try and work the best we can. But I'd like to see Hollingsworth Road kind of chimed in with 147th if we could. I don't think that should be a bad project to do. And it is very well needed because there is some very bad, serious drainage problems on this road. And it's not very far from me. And other than that, why, I think it would save the county money on rock, running graders up and down the blacktop roads to get to this one road. And there is a lot of traffic. And I think in time, it'll be proposed to the county that you'll have chip and seal the road from County Road 5 clear to 7 Highway because of the traffic coming from that direction.
Appreciate your comments. Do you want to have him contact you, or would there be any conversation for him to follow through on?
Well, this this is directly related to the conversation that was had last week and then this morning.
Right.
This is the project that is in the Water District's area, and the direction that I've been given by this board is that no projects are to move forward that haven't already been let for bid in their area until the policy is changed that they bid their work.
Right.
That's direction from you, so I don't have any ability to change that.
No, I know
And
that.
so there's no.
Could he gain any more information? This is a comment time. This is
I got
not
you.
a.
I got you, yeah. I definitely am willing to sit down and talk to anybody from the Water District and explain what our position is.
He said, and I appreciate you coming up and talking to us. You say that you're not going to put it out for bid because of certain things. Well, we also are mandated by the state to put it out for bid if it's over 25,000.
25,000
Right.
requires a sealed bid. We have an internal policy that requires we get quotes if it's
Right.
between a certain range.
And so that's where we stand. I totally understand what you're talking about because I've been on our water board for probably 25 years.
Sure.
And we have a man too that does our work. We've yet to have too much people requesting bidding. We do go out for bid, but generally it's, they want to do the bid, but they don't want to do it to our specifications.
Correct.
So.
I think it's more of a comment time. We can't resolve.
No.
So, to me, I would like to keep comments to comments without us trying to get into A, we'll do this, B. So.
No, and you're absolutely right, Mr. Chairman, and if I might, this stretch of road is very important to get done because it ties everything in, and would take some traffic off 155th. 155th runs through the main drag of Baser, which the county is responsible for because it is County Route 7. We would be responsible for that until Baser either improves it or Baser becomes a city of the first class, and that's way down the line. I mean, even if they go to a city of the second class, we are still responsible to maintain county routes that go through the city. So we need to get Hollingsworth done, and it may even be necessary to do Donahue at some point to get the traffic off of 155th. If Donahue ever gets punched through Falcon Lakes all the way over to 7 Highway, which I don't think that would be the county's responsibility.
So if you get in touch with the county administrator and with any questions you have, he can present an answer to your comment.
Okay, well, I'll take it back to the board and see if we can't get something resolved so we can get Hollingsworth done and in a timely fashion. And while maybe just a crazy idea, but while the equipment is there, while King is there working on 147th, possibly they could run in and do Hollingsworth in the meantime. I don't know.
Yep. Okay.
Well, that would have to be done as a design build.
Right.
And we just completed one on 182nd Street with Kings, and I'm not sure how that came out. The project's not complete yet, but I haven't heard anything negative about it. And also, we really don't know whether the Water District has any lines that are going to impact this project. It's not a large project. It's not a design.
Sarah said today that they didn't know where the lines were.
Yeah, this could possibly not even have to require any line relocation other than some services. Because there's just not a whole lot of dirt work to do other than widening, unless we're gonna design it as a super two, like
I hope not.
147th, and we're not.
I was gonna say,
No, it'd just be a chip seal road.
We got a no vote here.
26, probably 26-foot top.
yeah,
But I think Mr. Brandt can get a hold of
Right.
the county administrator and
Okay.
And I think that would maybe, something we do need to find out, just as simple as locating the water line,
yeah.
to see if we can move
That's
forward on
something
that.
a lot of water districts have trouble with,
Yeah,
keeping their lines located. Most of them, I think they do now is put the
but the
wire
located
tape.
wire, yeah.
But years back, they didn't do that.
You can witch them with a couple pieces of copper.
Yeah, I never had much luck with witching them.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
commissioners,
Brent.
appreciate
Appreciate
the
it.
time.
But
Thank you very much.
That would be we should find out whether the water line is even in the way
That's a
before
good-
we kill a
good point.
project.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you.
of all the masses, is there anybody else with a public comment?
Of all the masses.
Glenn Berry, District 1, representing the masses. I just, thinking about something. Here maybe it was last month, you guys gave a parking spot to Employee of the Month. Good thing. Everybody likes that. It's a big pat on the back to somebody. Problem with that is, the only people that are eligible to get that are people that work in this building. Because people work at Justice Center aren't gonna walk across the street to park in their fancy parking spot you give them. So my suggestion to you is not to eliminate that, but expand it. Over at the Justice Center, all your people park that work there behind it. Go over there with all those cop cars when they're changing shifts and tell me where you're gonna park at. Because it's like you drive all the way around the building a couple times waiting on somebody else to leave so you can get their spot. Just a thought, maybe you need to look at doing that. And out at the county shop. I don't know what kind of parking problems you have out there, if you have any. I've been out there a couple times, got by my roundup and stuff out there.
Employees have signed,
But, Yeah.
parking.
but just something you should think about for over there.
And the administrator wrote that down, thank you.
And I
Buildings
think
and
you're,
ground.
I think the sheriff does that, doesn't he? Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure he does.
and I was told by a person of significant importance to myself to bring up the fact that we're getting on this roundabout kick and all that because we like them. I don't, but people do. But that maybe you should put one out here on the corner. Just because of the traffic issue at that corner where you're trying to make a left-hand turn. I don't do that very often, but I did it once and I got in trouble for it. But just something to think about.
Thank you very much, Mr. Berry. Anybody else? That will close the public comment. Any administrative business?
We do have a couple of items that are from this morning. We discussed that the county council was able to prepare for the board for this evening's agenda. That one being the charter resolution that was discussed for the meeting, and the other one being a letter to our local representatives. And he has both of those for you. The charter resolution, just so you are aware, if it's approved, it has to be put in the newspaper for 2 consecutive weeks, and then there's a 60-day waiting period before it takes effect. That doesn't mean we can't continue with what the planned schedule was for our meetings. It just means that we will have 2 sessions at each meeting in order to
Right.
continue to meet the statutes until the 60 days is passed.
Has everybody had a chance to
I
read it?
have had a chance to read it. Are you ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we adopt a charter resolution exempting Leavenworth County from provisions of the KSA 19-209 and establishing that the Board of County Commissioners of Leavenworth County shall meet not less than 1 time per week.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just think that we need to really advertise this so that
Right.
people are not expecting,
Right.
you know, for years, we've been Monday and Thursday, Monday and Thursday. You get used to that. And I really think it's
since we've moved to Tuesday, we haven't had anybody show up yet on a Monday or a Thursday.
Well,
So I think it's working, the word gets out. So
Yeah.
we will definitely put it on our Facebook and
Okay.
we'll update it.
And maybe Mr. Richmeyer can put that in there when he puts the year of the taxpayer in.
Yeah, he already called me this afternoon and clarified, so I think he intends to put it in
okay.
there.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Okay, so I'll make it real confusing.
Yeah.
How you vote, Doug?
Aye.
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 Okay.
And,
And I have a copy of the charter resolution for you each to sign before you leave this evening, so we can begin the process of getting that to the Leavenworth Times, having it published.
okay, and we're gonna need another motion, aren't we, Chairman, for the resolution dash
Yes.
2018? I'll make a motion that we adopt Charter Resolution 2018-1.
Second.
Any discussion? How do you vote?
Aye.
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 The letter to our local representatives, we'd just like, I guess you need a vote so that the chairman can sign that, and, or you want all three of them to
I
sign?
would prefer each commissioner sign it individually. Commissioners, this is a proposed letter to the local state senators and representatives regarding, we believe to be a lack of efficiency in KSA 82601 and sequence, specifically the rural water districts, unlike almost every other public entity that expends public funds, is not required to use public bidding for construction projects. The letter points this out. It contains a copy of I don't have that, but an Attorney General's opinion that basically states that rural water districts are not currently required to use public competitive bidding. The letter would request that the local legislators consider adopting legislation that would provide for, rural water districts associated or created under 82A to utilize the same public bidding procedures that are found in KSA 2014 and 2015. Those are the statutes that require you to use competitive bidding.
Has everybody had a chance to read this letter?
Yes, I have.
Are you wanting each one of us to sign the copy that we
Well,
have?
Commissioners, I'll have to have Becky put it on your stationery
Okay.
and have a signatory copy ready. You can sign it later this week.
Very good. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we send the county commission letterhead to our representatives in request for an amendment of certain provisions, KSA 8286-01, in order to require rural water districts to use competitive public bidding in construction projects. One question I'd like to ask, this in no way prohibits water district personnel from bidding.
I need a little clarification. Water district personnel from bidding?
Just like Mr. Brandt said, they have a guy that works for them, does very good work, very professional, very good bid. Does it prevent him from bidding on the same project?
Oh, they could bid, and I think what they're referring to is they have a preferred vendor
Yeah.
who is
Right.
still able to bid. It's not, he's not actually personnel in
But
the water
if it
district.
was a personnel, because,
Then if you had personnel on staff, just like we do, that can do the work, you're not required to bid the work. If they're on staff. If it's a staff member, you don't have, it'd be like our guys going out
Well,
and doing a road, we don't have to
water
then bid
district, the
that.
water district I'm on, we have personnel.
If you have the personnel to do the
Yeah.
work, then you don't have to bid the work. That's,
I'll second that with some discussion. It's still, though, you do not have to take the low bid.
No,
You have to take the lowest qualified bid.
right.
So,
lowest responsible bid.
Yeah.
Statute reads lowest responsible bidder.
yeah, so it's still, most districts could still use their on-call contract.
Right.
If this would ever to get
That's what I
passed.
was not wanting to prohibit.
No. Actually, the on-call contractor should have a little better ability to bid and
Right.
know the district.
Should have a,
But at the same time, that you do not, if you have a contractor that you don't know anything about come in here and give you an extremely low bid, you don't want that bid.
kind of like the janitor we hired one time.
Well, and then you gotta watch the low bids too when they come back at you with change orders. But that's all discussion I have.
Okay. How do you vote?
I don't know if you got a second on that yet.
I did. I second it with
Yeah,
discussion.
Aye.
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 Commissioners, again, I'll have that prepared for your signature.
Okay.
Bob, can I see that? Who is our, have you read this?
Yes, and you already going to bring it up for discussion?
Yeah, this is Osage County Herald, and it was community transportation. Who is our representative for this transportation group getting together?
Nancy Bowder.
Nancy Bowder.
Okay.
The mayor.
She probably doesn't have this. Commissioner Smith picked this up. I don't know where he got it. Doesn't matter where he got it. It's a good
Osage County.
article. And I think that ought to be passed to that transportation board, that there's some things that, like, as much information as they have that we can get to do research, because, it'd
I
be
was
nice.
quite impressed with it.
Yeah, cost to the county, and it's just, again, it gets into suggested charges. That has never worked too good, but it seems to be working there. When you suggest a charge, people seem to, I don't know why they don't follow, but suggested they'll come up with $1, and that won't pay for transportation. But this seemed like a pretty good,
Well, I wanted to make a comment on that the Council on Aging basically does exactly what stated in there.
right, they charge now, they
Yeah.
don't. She came off the suggested charge. That's it, didn't
Yeah.
she?
I think,
I think it's still
no,
donation. isn't it?
she still charges.
Huh.
Yeah, she charges, but it used to be, we suggest it's $1 or $3, and I don't think they do that anymore. I thought she said it wasn't paying. Well, that's all right, that's for the committee to come
Yeah,
up
I was going to say, I don't know.
Well, I don't know either, but I do know she lost some KDOT funding.
Yeah,
with.
yeah, she did.
I mean, I think everybody around here's lost some state funding.
Was this smart management, or is this just something to read?
Just something to read. I noticed it in the governing body, or the governing magazine this month, and it talks about cooperative items that have been discussed
Yeah.
here, so I thought it was just a good time for our article.
Okay.
And we do have some OCBs that the appraiser would like approved that they came in after this
Yeah,
morning's.
we approved that form to be signed at the last meeting.
Well, they had more come in after that, so
Is that these?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You need a motion then to approve them outside the
okay.
consent agenda?
yes, we had, yes.
Oh, these are the
We've
ones-
already approved the
This
consent. agenda.
morning, you approved the consent
Well, this is
agenda.
the
Oh,
cons-
so
These
we
items
need to
came
approve-
in after this
Okay.
morning's consent
Oh,
agenda.
Right.
We just approved the
Oh, wait.
chairman to sign and date the OCBs.
Yes.
I'll second
That's my
that.
motion.
Any discussion? No?
No.
Okay. How do you vote?
Aye.
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 You're signed. So, that's it. Anything else that anybody can think of?
Not, oh, yeah, if you don't mind, Chairman, we discussed the Port Authority, about what the future may hold for it. The Port Authority does own property, correct?
Yes, there's one property.
Okay.
Can, yeah.
Well, they do,
Yeah.
right now. They do have property. What would happen with that property?
Actually, I think that even if, we can't shut the Port Authority down. We can quit funding them, and eventually they would shut down or find
Or
other.
the city?
But actually, I don't think we can legally shut the Port Authority down. I was looking into that this afternoon.
Okay, well, I didn't know where we were going with it, but I do know that if the property would become the county's,
No,
okay.
I think it just, well.
I think it just
Redford-
goes with the Port Authority.
Okay, well, what if the Port Authority, the city decides to dissolve it
Now,
too?
now like Tonganoxie, they have not given
Right,
their
and I don't
industrial
think
park.
they will.
And I don't think they will either. And so it stays with Tonganoxie.
But I'm just saying, if the county were to end up with property that the Port Authority, if it doesn't stay in a.
Well, it also relates to the 600,000, so.
Right.
If you'll write that down, it's something
But
that,
I don't think you can take that 600,000 back either.
well,
Because
only time will
you've
tell.
done gave it. You've
Sure,
done,
you're
you've
gonna stay
done,
with
you've
them
done.
over here in a cubby hole.
I mean, you can't walk up and give somebody $100, say, here, this is just a gift. and
But
then
if they're
say-
not funded, they'll be out of operation, so
Right,
they'll, maybe they give it to the LCDC, who knows?
Right.
That will be researched.
But I'm just saying, if we had property in these industrial parks, we couldn't just put it on the market to sell it.
Oh,
It would
no.
have to go to public bid.
right.
I mean, it's harder to get rid of county property than it is to buy it.
Actually,
To
they
follow
had
law.
that same restriction as we do.
I thought it got changed. And the legislature changed it where they
But
could
they've
offer,
had that same restriction all along. They just,
it just got changed last year.
yeah, well,
But,
but there's, the LCDC could take ownership of it. There are a lot of, but that's all stuff we'd have to look at. I don't know if we're,
okay.
if that's the direction yet
Yeah.
for this board. We
Yeah,
haven't started
we
that.
just quit funding them.
Well,
Okay,
They're funded through
anything
18.
else?
no, sir,
I'll
Mr.
entertain a
Chairman.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. Aye.
All right.
All right.